They say the ocean hides more than it reveals. But what if I told you the deeper you go, the less nature plays fair? Dive just 4,900 feet beneath the surface, and the ocean stops being blue, it becomes black. The creatures, they stop looking familiar and start looking like something out of your nightmares. Eyes grow to the size of fists or vanish altogether. Limbs sprout from places that defy logic, and bodies stretch, twist, or dissolve into translucent ghosts. It's as if evolution took a wrong turn in the dark and kept going. But among the strangest, most warped beings lurking in this twilight? Squids, not the ones you've seen in aquariums or on dinner plates. These are entities forged in pressure, silence, and a kind of cosmic madness. Some turn glass clear, others replace suckers with jagged hooks, and a few, well, they simply shouldn't exist. So why squids? Why do they seem to mutate so violently the deeper they live? And what exactly does the deep ocean do to life that makes it abandon every familiar rule? To understand, we have to descend into the unknown where the light ends and something else begins. At the sunlit edge of the ocean, squids seem almost ordinary. Take the reef squid, shimmering, agile, intelligent. It darts between coral in the epipelagic zone, barely 200 meters deep, where sunlight still dances through the water. Here, life plays by familiar rules. Bodies are streamlined, skin is smooth, and behavior is predictable. These squids are fast, colorful, even graceful. But this is just the mask, the surface-level version of squid evolution. A version shaped by warmth, visibility, and abundance. Descend a few hundred meters more, and that mask begins to crack. The light fades to blue, then gray, then nothing at all. We're entering the mesopelagic zone, the so-called twilight zone. Here, the ocean begins to whisper secrets in the dark. The pressure intensifies, the temperature drops, and evolution starts to experiment. It's down here that squids begin to trade beauty for survival. They grow lights on their bodies, turn invisible, or abandon symmetry altogether. What we thought we knew about these animals no longer applies. It's not that they become monsters, it's that they become something else entirely shaped, not by sunlight, but by shadow. Down in the twilight, light is no longer a gift, it's a weapon. Here, the firefly squid drifts like a constellation come to life, its body flickering in electric blues and ghostly whites. Every flash has purpose, a signal to mates, a lure for prey, or a disguise against predators lurking below. Evolution gave it bioluminescence, not for beauty, but for survival. Then there's the glass squid, so translucent it's almost invisible, a living ghost made of jelly and nerves. You can see its organs suspended like ornaments inside a crystal sphere. Down here, invisibility isn't magic, it's necessity. But even in this dim blue world, beauty begins to warp. Light becomes currency, and every creature learns to manipulate it. Some glow to confuse attackers, others to imitate the stars above. The ocean, in its eternal irony, uses darkness to create light, and uses light to conceal life. It's mesmerizing, yes, but this is the final stop before the descent turns grim. Because past this faint shimmer of bioluminescence lies a threshold where the ocean stops creating beauty and starts creating nightmares. The first true nightmare wears the name Humboldt. Over 6 feet long, up to 100 pounds of muscle and menace, this squid doesn't just drift, it dominates. Its arms are lined not with gentle suction cups, but with serrated hooks designed to shred flesh, not grasp it. Down here, in the deepest edge of the twilight zone, the Humboldt squid is no longer a curious oddity. It's a predator, and worse, it's a cannibal. These so-called red devils don't hunt alone. They swarm, dozens, sometimes hundreds, pulse through the black in synchronized motion, communicating by flashing pulses of red and white across their skin like silent Morse code. They don't speak, they don't roar, but they understand each other perfectly. One wrong move by a weaker member, and it's consumed by its own kind. This isn't survival of the fittest, it's a purge. Scientists have witnessed them rise toward boats, glowing and swirling in a blood-colored storm. Their speed? 25 meters per second, faster than you can flee. But despite their reputation, they rarely attack humans. We're too big, too strange. For now, they leave us alone. But the ocean doesn't need monsters, it grows them. And the Red Devil is just the beginning. Cross the invisible border into the midnight zone, and something changes not just in the creatures, but in the rules themselves. Here, sunlight doesn't just vanish, it's never existed. The water turns to ink, the pressure crushes, and the temperature hovers just above freezing. Time feels slower, movement becomes minimal, and what little life survives here evolves into something unrecognizable. Squids begin to mutate into forms that no longer resemble anything we'd associate with the word animal. Tentacles elongate, torsos flatten, and senses adapt to absolute darkness. There are no eyes looking for light, only sensors attuned to vibration, pressure shifts, the faint hum of a drifting heartbeat. It's not just survival down here, it's surrender. Surrender to an environment that punishes movement, punishes waste, punishes form. Life becomes efficient, unforgiving. And in that slow, crushing silence, squids begin to abandon elegance for terror. Some become transparent, some grotesque, and others almost mythic. But one squid in particular would cross the line from strange to haunting, not because of its size or strength, but because it looks unsettlingly familiar. Imagine drifting alone in the pitch-black deep, when suddenly something appears. It's small, barely the size of your finger, but as it turns, you see it. A mouth that looks eerily human, lined with what appears to be teeth, rows of them, smiling. But this isn't a nightmare, it's Promochotuthis sulcus, the squid that wears the face of something it never was. Those teeth aren't teeth at all. They're soft tissue folds, lips encircling a beak sharp enough to slice through flesh. But the illusion is real enough to unsettle even seasoned biologists. Only one specimen has ever been found, and even then, it was barely an inch long. No others have surfaced. Not because they don't exist, but because they live too deep in waters we haven't yet dared to explore. The truth is, we didn't design horror, the ocean did. And sometimes, what terrifies us most isn't violence or size, but uncanny resemblance. The squid with a human smile drifts alone in the dark, never hunted, never studied, barely understood. And maybe that's the scariest part. It's out there, somewhere, and we'll never see it coming. If there's one creature that has haunted sailors, poets, and scientists alike, it's the giant squid. Architeuthis dux, 45 feet long, eyes the size of dinner plates, arms lined with suction cups embedded with teeth. It is the largest invertebrate ever known to science, and yet, for centuries, it remained a myth. The Kraken, a beast from Norse nightmares said to drag ships beneath the waves. But the truth is stranger than the stories. These giants dwell in the deep mesopelagic and bathypelagic zones, striking from darkness with whip-like tentacles that can extend and retract in a blur. They're ambush predators, silent, sudden, precise. Their victims? Mid-sized fish, other squids, whatever passes too close. But what truly stunned researchers wasn't their size. It was the scars. Circular wounds, long slashes, sucker marks etched into the faces of sperm whales. That's how we discovered them, not by catching them, but by studying the damage they left on the very animals that hunt them. Most people fear sharks, but sharks don't fight whales. Giant squids do, and they leave reminders behind, as if to say, we exist, you just don't belong here. But even the giant has a rival one, heavier, thicker, and arguably more terrifying. The colossal squid, Mesonicoteuthis hamiltoni. It doesn't stretch as long as its giant cousin, maxing out around 35 feet. But what it lacks in length, it makes up for in brute force. This isn't a sprinter, it's a tank. Its arms are armed not with suction cups, but swiveling hooks, serrated, curved, and capable of rotating inside prey. Its beak, so powerful, it can shear through bone. And its eyes, nearly a foot wide, may be the largest of any creature on Earth. The colossal squid doesn't chase, it waits. Hanging in the freezing black waters of the Antarctic abyss, it detects the faintest flicker of movement, then strikes. Once caught, there is no escape. The hooks twist, the tentacles reel in, and the beak finishes what the arms began. Only a few specimens have ever been recovered, often by accident, tangled in fishing nets, like a myth that refused to stay hidden. One weighed over 1,000 pounds, but scientists suspect that's not the ceiling. It's just the beginning. Somewhere down there, something even heavier waits. So what happens when these two titans, the giant squid and the colossal, are imagined in a battle? It's the ultimate deep-sea duel. On one side, the giant squid, long and agile, a high-speed ambusher with the reach of an underwater whip. On the other, the colossal squid, dense and armored, a powerhouse with rotating hooks and brute stopping power. At long range, the giant might strike first, its tentacles lashing out from the dark. But up close, the story changes. The colossal squid's sheer mass and weaponized arms could overpower the giant with crushing force. Hooked flesh would tear, beaks would clash, muscles would coil, and water would churn with blood and ink. But here's the truth. This battle will never happen. They live in separate realms. The giant prefers slightly warmer, oxygen, rich waters in the midnight zone. The colossal lurks in the even colder, darker abyss near Antarctica. Two monsters, designed by different hells, never meant to meet. But they do share one terrifying enemy, an ancient predator that hunts both without fear. A creature not of tentacles, but of breath. Enter the sperm whale, the only known predator that hunts both giant and colossal squids, and lives to tell the tale. These leviathans of the deep dive, thousands of meters into utter blackness, holding their breath for over an hour, their massive skulls acting like biological sonar dishes. Click, wait, echo, strike. In the abyss, where sight is useless, they listen for giants. And when they find one, a war begins in silence. Sucker marks, deep scars, torn flesh etched across a whale's face like battle medals. Some whales return to the surface with tentacles still wrapped around their jaws, hooks lodged in their skin. Inside their stomachs, scientists find beaks massive, indigestible, the only parts of these squids that remain. And sometimes, more than one beak. These aren't accidents. They're evidence of a predator that makes a living fighting monsters. Sperm whales are the reason we even knew giant squids existed, not from seeing them, but from what they left behind in those who dared to eat them. It's a brutal reminder. Even the hunters of nightmares can become prey to something even bigger. But the whale's hunt ends long before the ocean truly does. Deeper than even the battlegrounds of the giant squid lies a place few have dared to name the abyssal zone. Between 4,000 and 6,000 meters below the surface, this is no longer water as we know it. It is a realm of eternal darkness, cold, just above freezing, and pressure so immense it could crush a submarine like paper. Sunlight has never touched this world. There are no plants, no photosynthesis, only death drifting downward flakes of organic matter, the so-called marine snow. And yet, life survives. It moves slowly, ghost-like, sea cucumbers that glide like shadows, jellyfish with tendrils that never end, and, of course, squids. But these aren't the agile predators of shallower depths. They are thin, delicate, almost ethereal. One species, Asperoteuthis acanthoderma, is little more than a translucent ribbon, 15 feet of gelatinous stillness. It doesn't swim, it drifts, waiting, listening, existing in a space so hostile it feels unearthly. Down here, the squid has become something else, entirely less. A creature, more a whisper of survival, clinging to a world most life fled long ago. But just when you think the abyss has revealed its strangest secret, it offers one more horror, the colossal squid, in all its monstrous glory. Heavier than any squid alive, weighing up to 1,300 pounds, this beast is not just large, it's armored. Its arms are lined with rotating, serrated hooks, and its beak, larger than that of any known bird, is capable of slicing through bone like wet cloth. But unlike the fast, whip-like giant squid, the colossal is built like a deep-sea battering ram. Shorter, thicker, slower, and infinitely more terrifying. It lurks in the Southern Ocean's frigid depths, its massive eyes scanning for the faintest shimmer of movement. And when prey drifts close, it strikes. No chase, no warning, just impact. No one has ever seen it hunt, not truly. All we know comes from what washes up, dives in fishing nets. But what we do know is enough. When this creature strikes, there is no struggle, only silence and scars. In the cathedral-like void of the abyss, the colossal squid is less an animal and more a presence, one you hope never notices you. But the ocean doesn't stop at the abyss. There's one last descent, one final layer so deep, so crushing, it borders on myth. The hadal zone, beginning at 6,000 meters and stretching down to nearly 11,000, this is the blackest depth on Earth. Here lies the Mariana Trench, Earth's deepest scar. Sunlight has never dreamed of reaching it. Pressure is 1,000 times greater than at sea level, and yet, something lives here, something moves. It's called the big fin squid, or Magnapina, a creature so strange it defies comparison. Its arms stretch more than 20 feet and bend like elbows, trailing behind it like puppet strings in zero gravity. But they don't swim. They hover, limbs dangling, skin translucent, movements ghostly slow. We've never captured one alive. We've never held an adult specimen. Everything we know comes from blurred, submersible footage, fleeting glimpses of something that shouldn't exist. What does it hunt? How does it feed? Why does it look like that? We don't know. All we do know is this: it is real, it is enormous, and it watches from a place no light can reach. No one designed the big fin squid to be terrifying. Nature simply shaped it that way for survival, not horror. In the crushing void of the hadal zone, movement is risk, energy is precious. So the big fin barely moves at all. Its bizarre elbows keep its arms spread wide without tangling, forming a drifting trap across the dark. Its skin, pale and translucent, reflects nothing, not even the faint glow of a bioluminescent predator. It hangs, silent, suspended like a marionette in black water. And still, we don't know what it eats. We don't know how it breeds. We don't even know how large it can grow. Every recorded sighting has been of juveniles. That means the adults, the real monsters, have never been seen. Perhaps they're deeper still, drifting in chasms we haven't dared to explore. And if they exist, what else does? That's the question no one can answer. Because this squid, this strange specter from the deep, is more than just an animal. It's a question, one that stares back at us from the darkness. And the only thing more terrifying than its shape is our ignorance. We've explored Mars more thoroughly than our own ocean depths. Less than 5% of the deep sea has been mapped, and only a fraction of its life discovered. Every squid we know, giant, colossal, glass, big fin, was found by accident. A scar on a whale, a blur on a deep-sea camera, a tangled corpse in a fishing net. They weren't meant to be found, not by us. And if these are the ones we have discovered, what else lurks in the ink? Could there be squids longer than school buses? Creatures that move too slowly for our submersibles to notice? Beings that live so deep, even whales can't reach them. Scientists suspect it's possible. Some believe enormous relatives of the big fin might drift unseen, waiting in the trenches, crushing silence. We don't know how they live, or even if they live as we understand it. But we know this: the ocean doesn't show all its cards. It never has. And maybe that's what makes it so terrifying. Not the monsters we've found, but the ones we haven't. Down there, in the darkest depths of our own planet, something is watching, and we still have no idea what it is.